let's talk about marketing funnels. What are they? Why are they so critical to your business success? And how do you actually go about planning out one of these things? And also, why are they called funnels when they just look like giant spider webs? These are just some of the things we're going to cover in today's video. I'll be doing my absolute best to answer any questions you have about sales and marketing funnels, and also provide you with some more resources if you want to keep on learning about this topic past this video. But if you have a particular burning question about marketing funnels when it comes to your own business, or anything that I maybe haven't answered in this video, make sure to pop it in the comments below and I'll be able to help you out there. I want to thank you in advance for taking time out of your busy day to watch this video. I hope you find it helpful, and let's get straight into it. So what is a marketing funnel? Put simply, a marketing funnel is just a framework that businesses use to turn complete strangers into customers through some relationship building steps. Now, I want to be very, very clear that these things can get very intense and very complex, and I'm not denying that at all. All I'm saying is that at their very core, all that marketing funnels are just turning someone who has never heard of your business and your brand and your team and anything about you into someone who knows, likes, and trusts you enough to buy from you, and hopefully buy from you again and again. But it's also really important for us to talk about the deception factor here. Why are they actually called funnels when they look nothing like funnels? So I say deception because I think the term funnel can be a bit misleading, because it refers a lot more to the actual framework and the system behind these things rather than the way they actually look when you plan them out. And it's basically just the idea that the number of people that you'll attract to your initial meeting point of your business, whether that's a website or a social media profile or a video like this, that number of people is going to be much, much larger than the number of people who are going to continue that relationship with you, subscribe to your newsletter, interact with you, and then eventually become customers again and again. Okay, so let's now have a look at what happens at each of these stages of your funnel. So, draw this beautiful funnel. Wow. Yep. Digital marketing doesn't work out. Arts. Yeah. Okay, so it's basically an oversimplification of what happens inside of a funnel, but you've got these sort of three sections. So you've got your top of the funnel, where all you're really trying to do is bring awareness to ideally your target market, but just kind of getting a bit of brand awareness, maybe a bit of engagement through social posts, blog posts, all that good stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But your only job at this stage is really just to bring brand awareness. Then you get to the middle of the funnel, where you really want people to kind of take that relationship one step further by giving you their email address in exchange for something of value, so you can continue to nurture that relationship. So in a customer journey phase, if you want to think about it that way, all you're doing is moving people from like that awareness to the consideration and to the decision stage at the very end, where they're deciding whether or not your paid offer is actually the right thing for them and whether they want to become a customer. So this is where people will actually become customers, and then hopefully repeat customers, which is especially key for those of you who have ongoing subscriptions or membership communities, those sorts of things, where you really have to focus on that last bit and nurturing your existing customers to get them to really engage with you on a repeat basis. Okay, so now we know a little bit more about funnels, what they look like, why they're called what they're called, and now let's get into the fun stuff, as in what should you actually create at each stage of your funnel. I am going to break this down by these three chunks of your funnel at the top, middle, and bottom, based on the goals you should be trying to accomplish at every stage. But I wanted to preface this by saying you should not be paying for ads until you have validated your idea and your strategy through organic methods. All that ads actually do for you is they amplify what's already happening in your business. So if you have a system that works really well, then great, and you can put ads into it and it's going to work for you. If it's not working for you on an organic basis, it's not going to work for you once you start putting ads into it. So I would really encourage you to test out your strategy through organic methods first before considering paid advertising. Okay, so let's now start with the top of the marketing funnel. Like we already talked about, your job at the top of the marketing funnel is just to increase your brand awareness and your visibility to your target market. I want to be very clear on the fact that a lot of people will say that this should ideally be website traffic. So you should just be getting a lot of visitors back to your website at the top of your funnel. And that would be ideal, but there are lots of people who have created these amazingly powerful digital marketing funnels without a live website, because the top of your funnel can look like YouTube videos, and it can look like social media posts, and wherever your target market is hanging out, if you're providing them with lots of value for them to consume and engage with, you don't necessarily need to have a live website in order to execute a really profitable strategy for yourself. So just know that it's not a barrier to success if you don't have a website live yet. So let's talk about your goal at the top of your marketing funnel. At this stage, your only job is to attract your target market to your profile, to your website, or wherever else you want them to go. But the key at this stage is for it to be relevant and quality traffic, because the worst thing that can happen is you go viral with a single piece of content that is the wrong kind of content. So for example, if you have a video on the top 10 recipes for the best vegan apple pie, but then your actual paid offer at the bottom of your funnel is all about making your own meat sausages, your vegan audience is probably not going to want to buy that from you. So you want to make sure that you're still creating relevant content that is really closely related to your final paid offer, even at the top of your funnel. Okay, so let's talk about the middle of your funnel. This is the stage that's most often overlooked by marketers. I have been guilty of this myself on occasion, but it's a really, really important part of your sales process, because that is the stage where you start to actually begin building trust with your audience in order for them to actually want to move to the bottom of your funnel. So don't skip the middle of your funnel. And now let's go into how you can do that. So your goal in the middle of your marketing funnel is just to provide a lot of value to your target market that is now hyper relevant to your final paid offer in exchange for their email address. So you really want them on your email list so you can start developing and nurturing that relationship by providing more and more value to them through their inbox. But be very aware of the fact that people now get so many emails that to get someone's email is now harder, lots harder than it was like 5 years ago, even a year ago. People are a lot more hesitant to jump onto your email list, so you have to go above and beyond to convince them that your email list is worth subscribing to, and that this thing that you're going to give them in exchange for their email is worth them signing up to your email list. And it's also very key to note that you don't want everybody signing up to your email list. You only want the right people on your list, because you're going to be paying for your subscribers. So you want to make sure that the right people are on there who are going to engage with your emails, who are going to read them, click on them, and eventually become a customer. So whatever you decide to offer your people to get them onto your email list needs to have these 3 things in order for your marketing funnel to succeed. It needs to be valuable, needs to be actionable, and needs to be hyper relevant to your final paid offer. So it's not enough anymore to just give someone an ebook and hope that they read it. It needs to be something that they can actually take action on, get some results, get some quick wins, so they can get really excited and pumped and be like, wow, I actually got so much value from this free thing. I wonder what the paid thing is going to be like. And then if the paid thing that you're going to offer them in the next stage is super relevant to the thing they've just gotten results from and loved, then it would be a no-brainer for them to invest money into that. And that brings us to the bottom of the marketing funnel. So if you've done your job correctly in the previous 2 stages, at the bottom of the funnel is when your leads are ready to be presented with your paid offer. So your goal at the bottom of the marketing funnel is just to present your product or your offer or your service in a way that is going to inspire your audience to take action. So you don't really want to be like listing features and benefits. You just want to be showing them how their life is going to be impacted and how their problems are going to be solved through this thing that they're going to buy from you. So you could, send them emails with frequently asked questions and testimonials from past customers that have had great success with using this offer that you're presenting to them. And really all you're doing is objection handling. So if they have any last minute questions or worries, you want to be combating that through emails, through paid ads potentially. If you're at a stage of your business growth where you're ready and you're happy to invest a little bit of money into retargeting ads, that's when you could kind of, follow your customers or potential customers around the internet, answering their questions, getting your brand in front of them right when they're in that decision-making stage. This can be especially key if you have a cutoff deadline. So if you're promoting a product or a launch that has an expiry date or a bonus of some sort that has an expiry date, you could really utilize that kind of urgency factor to promote that to your audience and say, hey, you've only got 2 days, hey, you've only got 1 day, and send them these emails to really inspire them to take action in the time frame that you want them to take action on. And finally, let's talk about the one thing that my marketing students ask me about all the time, which is how long will it take for someone to make their way through my marketing funnel, and how many steps should I actually include at each stage? Now, luckily, there's a really simple answer to this. No, just kidding. There really isn't. Marketing is complex, more complex than it needs to be, and this is no exception. But there are some really solid guidelines I can provide you with, and they have to do with time and money. And what I mean by that is how much time and how much money is required for a person to invest in order to actually engage with your paid offer. So the more money and the more time that somebody has to give up in order to execute on your paid offer, the longer this process will take and the more steps you should include in building out your funnel. So let me give you an example here. If they're signing up for a year-long program that has weekly calls and lots of work required in between calls, well, you can bet that someone's gonna sit on that for a while, maybe several weeks or even months perhaps, and you'll need to give them content to consume during their decision-making process so they don't forget about you. Whereas if you're offering like a 30-minute haircut at a barbershop near their house, they might actually make that decision on the spot, and your funnel in that case might just consist more on getting repeat business from your customers instead of getting that initial sale. So that's more about the time investment. Now let's talk about the money side of things. Are you offering an ongoing subscription for a $2,000 a month service for a minimum of a 3-month commitment? Well, people are gonna need more convincing to buy that from you. Or maybe you're offering a one-off $50 product that somebody can buy and use straight away. Well, there's way less resistance that you can expect from that kind of price tag. And of course, guys, there's so much more that goes into this. People spend years and huge budgets getting their funnels just right. And every time they get one right, they start a new one and they're almost starting from scratch in terms of learning what their audience is responding to and what conversion rates to look out for and all of that stuff. So it does take time. And if you would like to learn how to develop a profitable sales and marketing funnel strategy for your particular business and learn more about this stuff and maybe shortcut that knowledge from years and years of testing into just a couple of hours, make sure to check out the link in the description and a little bit more details on how I might be able to help you. And so all of that is in the description below, and make sure to check it out there. And that's it for this training on what a marketing funnel is and how you can utilize this knowledge for your business. I hope you found it really helpful. And if you did, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future trainings like this one. I'm so grateful to have had you here. Thank you for giving me your time today, and I'll see you in the next one.